the beginning of the year, we had some very big weather-related disruptions hitting Europe. And obviously, there's ongoing geopolitical disruptions happening a lot of the time, pretty constant change. The biggest impact we see with that is that the arrival times for cargo for our customers become much less predictable and much more volatile.
If we look at the external environment, there is a lot of noise and a lot of disruptions that are being created. And of course, this makes everyone's job more difficult. And I think one data point is that all these disruptions and all this noise increase the complexity of managing a supply chain. And something to watch, I think, is consumer confidence at this moment. In March and April, we have seen confidence actually everywhere in the world, not only Europe, really declining among consumers and also to some extent among businesses. So this is definitely one indicator, confidence. The other one is inflation. Inflation is very important because it will affect the purchasing power of consumers in Europe and elsewhere, and will definitely influence the decisions that consumers will take in the coming months. Inventory strategies are definitely not the same today as they were in the past. I think every supply chain is adapting to multiple disruptions that happen in a very short amount of time. Now, one thing that we see in the data is that inventories are being pushed as far away as possible from the consumer. So if I look at data in Europe and data in the US, what we observe is that inventories level are quite high among manufacturers and much less so among retailers and wholesalers. And I think this is an important signal of how inventories are being managed throughout the supply chain, and as I said, as far as possible from the consumer in this moment.
So what we're trying not to do is work with customers to do constant firefighting. It's very difficult to make the decisions with a long lead time. So what we try and do is enable our customers to have more resilience, to have greater flexibility, so that they can make those decisions downstream. One example is we have flow facilities and cross-dock facilities located near the ports, such as the Maersk cross-dock facility we have in Europe. And their customers can then decide later on as to how they're going to allocate that inventory. Are they going to send it on for onward distribution? Are they going to send it directly to fulfillment? Or will they direct it towards doing some value-added work, such as repackaging or relabeling, that will then prepare it at a later stage for whatever customer demands or regulatory requirements that they might have. In times of disruptions, we're trying to work with customers to increase flexibility and resilience into their supply chains. A lot of that is to do with enabling them to make decisions later on in the process so that they can then direct inventory to the right customer, to the right country, or potentially do value-added work to it, such as relabeling or repackaging. Simply put, maybe it looks up front that it's going to be more costly to have another stage, another step in the supply chain process, but what you're doing is actually reducing the chance of ending up with inventory in the wrong location or potentially obsolete stock, which can be much more expensive.